Hi, I'm Laura Ferguson, the Senior Curator of Western History here at the High Desert Museum, and I'm happy to have a chance to join all of you virtually. We hope you're doing well during this challenging time. Today we're launching a new effort to collect your stories to learn more about how COVID-19 is shaping your life here in the High Desert. But first, I want to share with you a little bit more about our collection. We have about 29,000 objects in the collection, many of which are stored right here in the vault. And these objects tell all different kinds of stories about the different groups of people who have shaped our region. Our goal here at the High Desert Museum is to connect people to the high desert, to give them an opportunity to explore more and develop a greater appreciation for this place. And so the objects in our collection have many different interesting connections to this place that we call home. They tell us more about the people and the ecology of this region. And in particular, our collection features many objects created by indigenous people, those that lived along the Columbia Plateau. Native people from tribes like the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, Confederated Tribes of Umatilla, the Nez Perce and Klamath tribes. One of my favorite objects in the collection is this twined bag by Pat Courtney Gold. The title of this bag is Native Culture Endures. This bag features an urban landscape filled with buildings, trucks, and birds. They're woven into the bag using colorful fibers. The lower section of the bag features Wasco figures. Pat Courtney Gold has stated that her goal is to preserve and promote traditional basketry throughout the plateau communities and to pass the basketry skills to the next generation. We can see the ways that she's drawing on and preserving Wasco twining techniques by looking at this bag, created by a Wasco artist in the late 1800s. It too features aspects that are significant to Wasco culture and contains similar design elements. Both bags feature Wasco ancestors. The collection also includes many objects from many different groups who have shaped the high desert region, including the Basques, who came to the high desert in the late 1800s from a region between Spain and France, Chinese immigrants, those who came from Spain and Mexico, as well as Anglo-Americans. The collection also features the labor and leisure activities that have shaped our region. For example, we're standing here among many of the objects in our forestry collection. The collection features stories of play and recreation, including these skis from the 10th Mountain Division. During World War II, the U.S. established a new division to train for alpine combat, the 10th Mountain Division. Soldiers honed their climbing, skiing, and mountaineering skills. After the war, 10th Mountain Division veterans shaped the ski industry, creating ski resorts in Colorado and across the West. Following the war, many adventurers continued to rely on World War II gear in the years before the outdoor industry took off. As you can tell from these couple examples, historians draw on objects to tell many different stories. Objects can tell us about the individuals who created an object, about what their life experiences were like, and what their day-to-day life looked like. Objects can also tell us about relationships among people. Many objects are transferred among people as gifts, through purchases or trades, so we can learn about connections among individuals and communities. We can also learn about a particular moment in history by looking at an object. We might learn about what life was like during a particular time in the past, or we can learn about the ways that major changes have shaped all of our lives. If you think, for example, even about a telephone, it has radically changed in the last several decades and has really changed the way that we communicate, socialize, and work together.
My name is Sarah Balinson. I'm the collections manager here at the High Desert Museum. My job is to care for the objects here in the museum, and we are currently in the vault where many of our objects are stored. You may wonder why the museum would have objects stored in a vault and not on display, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why that is. So the vault is a controlled environment, and we like to have an environment like that for objects that are in a resting state. So many of our objects are on display for a while, and then we take them off display to rest in the vault so that they can be preserved for as long as possible. So to create a controlled environment for these objects, we need to think about things like temperature, humidity, and light. So this vault is at a constant 68 degrees, plus or minus a few degrees Fahrenheit. We have one of the most advanced HVAC systems in the museum back here in the vault. We also have a relative humidity for our objects of about 40%. Staying in that state of stability helps the objects to not fluctuate, crack, anything like that that would cause the object to be damaged or not be preserved in its best state for as long as possible. We also want to be sure to be really on top of pest control, pest management here at the museum. We are constantly checking pest traps and checking objects for signs of pest damage. We are uniquely placed in the middle of the forest, so that creates some challenges for us, but we're always staying on top of that to the best of our ability and making sure that objects are as safe as possible, whether they're on exhibit or back here in the vault where we keep them as safe as possible. You may notice behind me, if you can see, some of the boxes are blue cardboard. Those are archival cardboard, so they're acid free. That keeps the objects in their best state for as long as possible without acid damage, yellowing, things like that. So these are actually really special boxes that all of our objects are kept in. Our goal is to preserve things as best we can right now for the future. So we want our objects to not be preserved for the next generation or the next after that, but forever, for as long as possible. Maybe it's 100 years, maybe it's 500 years, to a future that we don't even know about yet. So our goal is very long term when we're thinking about storage in the vault. And we really look forward to the stories that you're going to be sharing with us. Thanks for joining.
We're inviting you to share your story, and this could take many different forms. We welcome you to submit a written journal entry or letter. You might write a poem or short story reflecting on your experience. You could submit a photo diary or interview someone else that you are spending a lot of time with right now. What objects should the museum collect right now? Is there something that is especially representative of your day-to-day experience during COVID? We want to hear more about how this pandemic is shaping your life so that future historians and museum goers can learn more about this historic moment. You can share your story now at highdesertmuseum.org/COVID-stories. Thanks for joining us today. I look forward to reading your stories, and we look forward to the day when we can all gather again here at the High Desert Museum. Thank you.